The Haunting of Willow Lane. Chapter 1: The Move. John and Mary had been searching for their dream home for years. They had finally found the perfect house in a quiet neighborhood on Willow Lane. The house was an old, Victorian-style home that had been built in the late 1800s. It had a beautiful wraparound porch, stained glass windows, and a large, lush yard. As they pulled up to the house, they were greeted by a beautiful fall landscape. The leaves were turning colors of red, yellow, and orange, and the air was crisp and cool. John and Mary stepped out of the car and made their way to the front door. John inserted the key into the lock, and they both pushed open the door. As they stepped inside, they were hit with a musty, old smell. The house had been vacant for years, and it showed. John and Mary looked at each other with excitement in their eyes. This was their new home, and they couldn't wait to make it their own. They spent the rest of the day unpacking their belongings and getting settled in. As the sun began to set, they sat out on the porch and enjoyed the view of the neighborhood. The street was lined with trees, and the houses had a quaint charm to them. They were happy to be a part of this community. As the night grew darker, they headed inside to make dinner. While John was cooking, Mary decided to explore the house. As she walked down the hallway, she noticed that the floorboards creaked under her feet. She made her way into the master bedroom and noticed a strange smell. It was a mix of old perfume and something else she couldn't quite put her finger on. She shrugged it off and continued her exploration. As she made her way into the guest room, she noticed that the room was freezing cold. She shivered and made her way back to the kitchen to check on John. As they ate dinner, they talked about their plans for the house. They wanted to repaint the walls, replace the old carpet, and update the kitchen. They had big plans for their new home. After dinner, they settled into bed and drifted off to sleep. However, in the middle of the night, John was awakened by a strange noise. It was a low, whispering sound that seemed to be coming from the walls. He tried to ignore it and go back to sleep, but the whispers grew louder and more frequent. Mary slept soundly beside him, so he decided not to wake her up. As the night went on, the whispers continued. John couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about the house. He decided to get up and investigate. As he walked down the hallway, he noticed that the doors to the guest room and master bedroom were open. He was sure he had closed them before going to bed. He cautiously pushed open the door to the master bedroom and noticed that the strange smell was stronger. He made his way over to the window and noticed that it was slightly open. He closed it and made his way back to bed, but the whispers continued to haunt him throughout the night. The next morning, John decided to bring up the whispers to Mary. She didn't seem to have heard anything, but she could see the fear in his eyes. She suggested that they call a paranormal investigator to put their minds at ease. John agreed, and they made the call. The investigator promised to be at their house later that day to perform an investigation. They were scared but relieved to have someone coming to help them solve the mystery of the whispers.